Today is the day. Today is the day we find out, was it all worth it? Was 8 years of podcasting about Xbox, never missing a week? I'm talking never missing a week. I'm talking podcasting while on vacations. I'm talking supporting a brand that's in second place in my head, but they say third place. Was it all worth it? Or is Xbox going to spit in our faces? Are they going to wipe absolute garbage? I'm not going to say anything crazy. All over our faces. Do you know what? Before we start, let me crack open the cider because I'm drinking today. Today is one of those days, everybody. Today is the day we find out if Xbox is over for me. Today is the day we find out if it's buried and dead. Today is the day I announced that I'm in my new office. Does that matter? No. Does Xbox care? No. I'm MC Fixer. Pleasure and welcome to the stream. I'm alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, have your moment.
Hello.
Talk to me. The stage is yours, my friend.
The sky's not falling, as Origin Cookie Man said. This is all okay. Xbox is going to come here with clear, concise messaging. They're going to let us know exactly what's up with no wiggle room. They're not going to be like, it'll be a case-by-case basis. They're going to be direct with us. For sure. Right, guys?
Absolutely not. I'm the one and only Mr. Paul Despawn. Hello.
It's about to end forever. The sky is falling. And Matt's dead. Yeah,
Matt died. Matt died. Matt actually might be dead. We didn't even get a response. Not even a response today. Not even a response.
I thought he did he not respond?
Yeah, he did. He did. He did. He did
respond.
Did he? No. Oh, he must actually be dead. Okay, fair enough. Oh well.
In my head, he didn't respond. In my head, he didn't respond. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. How is everybody? I hope everybody is well. We're expecting the future of Xbox podcast in 10 minutes,
10
I guess.
minutes, yeah.
10 minutes, I guess. I guess that's the place to go. Big shout out real quickly to Yami, who converted his Prime sub into a tier 1 sub. Ooh. Big thank you to you over on Twitch. We do appreciate you. Shout out to everyone watching on YouTube and everyone watching on Twitch right now. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed if you haven't subscribed already. All jokes aside, obviously, I'm being a bit doom and gloom. I'm being a bit of a caricature of myself right now. This is a serious talk. This is a serious day. It's a strange one. I'll be honest with you, boys, because if you think about it, PlayStation have come out saying all the wrong things at the wrong times as well. They could have had me. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. They had me. Like a week ago, I was like, Xbox, how dare you? The PlayStation comes out like, yep, the PlayStation 5 is dead. You know, we're not putting out no more games. I'm like, hold up a minute. This console's been out 3 years.
No exclusives until next year.
You know, last week when I came out and I was like, Xbox don't care about me as a player. They don't care about the money. And then PlayStation are like, yeah, this console's already dead. I'm like, this console's just getting started. What do you mean? We're 3 years in. You've only just been able to get your hands on that bloody thing. Like, what the hell's going on over it?
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's a weird landscape right now.
Like, that's the thing. Like, with those announcements, are we now at the point where, like, are Xbox actually on a winner here? If they're, like, trying to get ahead of all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're doing it.
Yeah. It's,
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Despawn. Honestly, it's... We again, as consumers of a product, right? We are very quick to judge. We are very quick to jump to conclusions. We're very quick to not quite understand the entire landscape of something. It seems like PlayStation could be moving in a direction where they're going to put all their first-party games day and day in on PC, like Xbox have been doing.
Yeah.
And it seems like Xbox have just gone a step further and gone, oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. We're coming everywhere, motherfuckers. You're not going to upstage me today. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I'll be honest, like, for the last couple of, like, generations, it does feel like Xbox have been, like, making those kind of, like, logical leaps into the future. At the time, we're always like, oh, this is going to be terrible. This is the end of the world. As in video games that we know, But it actually feels like, if PlayStation, the market leaders are talking like that, and Xbox are coming out in front of it and being like, yo, we're already ready for that future, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe we're all panicking for no reason.
I
mean,
do just
not
want to say there's a stark difference between putting out your games day and date on your proprietary tech, your console and PC, as opposed to also putting out on your competitions, right?
True.
I think there's a bit of a difference there. I don't think it's that much of a difference as people would seem.
Well, this is, I mean, this. Sorry to interrupt. Like, this is the idea of from Xbox's side. If all the rumors are true and everything, they're trying to get away with the console. They're trying to become like the access it on anything, everywhere. Like we saw in the news today. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they're really pushing forward with the touch controls for mobile now. So they're basically making everything a controller. So I'm interested. Great, yeah. Like, give more people more ways to play. I'm interested to see how that's going to play out.
I just want to say touch controls suck.
I mean, it's better than no controls. Just saying.
I would disagree.
You
There are certain
think-
times where I'd rather not play a game.
Just not play a game.
I'd rather not play it.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the news of apparently the message going around right now in Xbox HQ is every screen is an Xbox. I mean, you better market that appropriately then.
Yeah,
Is
better
all
be
I'm
what
gonna
this-
say.
Yeah,
Like
that-
because we'll see, you know.
But also, if you say every screen's an Xbox and then somebody has like a horrible experience, doesn't that mean that like they had a horrible Xbox experience and not a cloud experience, not a live streaming experience, right?
That's literally what they're going for, right? They're trying to control what cloud gaming is.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say, well, cloud gaming is Xbox. And I'm like, that's a dangerous place to be because cloud gaming right now, for me, is absolutely terrible. Is that what you want associated with your brand right now?
well, for
Is
me, it's great.
Cloud
so-
gaming.
You
What,
play
cloud gaming?
Yeah.
When you
I've
use
done
it,
cloud
you've done it inside the house though, right?
Yeah, but Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. Like, I got to say, do you play your Xbox outside the house? Do you put it in the garden?
No, but cloud gaming doesn't need to be played in the house.
Maybe this year I will.
Cloud
I've
gaming
got-
can
I've
be
got a
played in the
garden now.
garden.
I've got a garden now, maybe.
Garden, big screen, cloud gaming.
Sounds good. Projector on the wall. Bam.
If you say every screen is an Xbox, you can't start saying, do you play it outside the house? Because like, yeah, you take your screens outside of the house. You take your phone everywhere you go.
We've all got
He's
phones,
right.
right? Sorry,
Yeah, but that's-
I am agreeing, but I'm also refreshing a website constantly. So if I'm looking away, and I am listening, I promise.
No, you're absolutely fine. You're absolutely
trying-
fine. We're waiting for this podcast to drop, so
Yeah,
We're,
so-
we're all sat tentatively waiting. We're all just like, okay, let's
Sorry.
let's see what this is.
I accidentally clicked on a shot of Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3 and got distracted. Man, that's a beautiful character model.
Yombi says, I played at work with no lag before. Must be nice. I'm upstairs on my TV and nope, doesn't work. Doesn't like it. Doesn't work. Doesn't. Cloud gaming isn't it for me. It just isn't. I wish it was, and I've got good internet, by the way.
Yeah, I played Yakuza on my Quest 3. That was great. I got a win in Fortnite there as well.
I love
But,
that
I mean-
that's your go-to.
but to
That's
be
your
fair-
go-to. I got a win in Fortnite. Yeah,
I
against
mean-
bots.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm good at Fortnite.
You're good at Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm
You
good enough
just
to get
said
a win.
Are you good at Fortnite or yeah, I'm all right? Which one is it?
Somewhere in between. Good enough to get a win.
Okay, sure. Okay, if that's what we're going with today.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
I'm glad you're good enough to get a win. T-Spot. I'm glad you're good enough to get a win.
Dan says I played Destiny 2 on my phone. It was pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying there hasn't been good experiences. I'm just saying every time I've had an experience with cloud gaming, it isn't good. And
So-
I don't know if that's something the brand wants to be. Do you want to be associated with the brand like that in terms of like every screen's an Xbox, meaning every variable out there? It's not saying every PC's an Xbox. You don't want to say that because ultimately that's truth. Like there's a Game Pass app on there, things like that. But the problem is when someone goes and like I did with Alan Wake, right? Someone goes to have the experience of playing Alan Wake and they've installed it on their HDD and not the SSD, and then they're on Twitter complaining like a moany person like me, and they're like, well, you're out here tweeting at Xbox like, hey, you said this was you. Like, you just have those moments that are
It's
not
like,
great.
is this you?
Not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. No. But to be fair, Bob's raised a good point in chat here. With cloud, it's the inconsistency is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they want.
mean-
Xbox always want to say like we want to give you a consistently great experience where you want to play your games, and like we've just proven here, I have a great experience. Fix has a terrible experience.
Also, like
Crash doesn't
good-
even play.
I I have good home internet 90% of the time. Then there's 10% where my internet's just randomly trash. And so if I'm playing on cloud, that's still an Xbox experience, even though my internet is trash. Because a lot of people don't differentiate that. You see that with multiplayer games all the time. It's like this game's servers suck. It's like, no, you're playing Wi-Fi with 10 different walls between you and the router, and your internet's not going to be good in that case, right? But people don't even acknowledge that. They're just like, I have internet. I play this game. It should work. People are going to process cloud the same way, regardless of what they could do to fix and change that.
Yeah.
True,
Again, it comes from the market, and Xbox are going to be marketing like this is the way to play Xbox going forwards. And then it turns around like, oh no, it's terrible. It's a terrible way to play Xbox.
Sorry, I just saw Toplif's comment.
Yeah.
Crash is celebrating Xmas early.
Look, this is the last time I get to wear this sweater. I
Sorry.
bought this sweater
That
for
absolutely
Xbox
killed me.
for the
That
podcast.
absolutely
It's
killed
dead.
me. Oh, Jesus,
your,
that caught me off guard. That caught me
Say,
off guard.
you got your PlayStation jumper on order, yeah?
That's underneath. Crash has got that underneath. He's ready.
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna do.
ready.
He's gonna do like every sports person who's like on the fence, like anyone watching the Super Bowl, right? Where they're going, yeah, go team, until the other team starts winning, and then like they slowly take off their jersey,
Yeah.
and they're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, go the other team. That's Crash right now. Let me tell you. Do you actually think today? Do you think we're actually going to get concise messaging around the future of Xbox now?
No. Xbox
don't
don't
think
do
you-
concise messaging.
The problem is, I think if you have concise messaging, I think they'll try and like give us their thought process on it without any like, here's exactly what we'll be doing. Because I don't think you need a podcast if you have concise messaging. I think you can put out a 10-15 minute video if you have concise messaging. Like, this is what we'll be doing. Instead, they're doing the podcast. I don't know how long their podcasts typically are. So
No, well, it's
don't
usually, I think
see
it's
it.
usually an hour.
Usually about
I
an
think
hour,
so.
yeah.
There's no way this is an hour, though, by the way.
It is 22
we up?
minutes. It is up.
Okay.
Okay.
It is 22
That's not
minutes.
long.
It is not live. I've got it paused. Let me set this up so we've got it here. I've got it paused at 3 seconds.
Okay, 1 sec. I'll get to 3.
Where the Xbox page?
It's just on
Xbox official YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.com/Xbox.
I'm at 3 seconds as well. Let me know when everyone is good to go, and we will jump in and react to the updates on the Xbox business.
I'm good to go. Wait, Crash, are you ready?
Let me. Crash, you good?
One second.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I want to make sure we all got this together.
So this isn't a podcast at all. This is a polished piece of content that they've made, that they've said official Xbox podcast, just so people are aware.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm good.
Here you on 3 seconds?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and welcome to the official Xbox
Hi.
podcast. I'm your host Tina Amini.
They can never hear me,
We have a
can
very
they?
Special episode
No.
today, as
No.
you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt. Welcome.
No welcome?
We wanna
Wow,
talk
not even no welcome
about
back there. You see that?
updates at Xbox. We wanna
Rude.
talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard now that they're
Turn it
part
up
of
slightly.
portfolio, how that might be an impact
Despawn.
on Game Pass, and we want to talk about hardware too and how all
This
of
is it,
fits
I
into
know,
the
this is
strategy
it.
at Xbox. So
What's
where should we
happening?
start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard. Maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news. coming out from
Oh,
hardware.
it's real.
But
Talked.
we have some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity
I like that.
question,
Here we
'cause
go.
I know it's
Here we
on
go.
the
Here we
mind
go.
of A lot of people we hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other
Okay.
consoles.
4?
Just 4 games. Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some
We better get
specific
to it, Phil.
reasons. We make
Turn it up
every
again,
decision
Despawn, please.
really with the long-term
Done.
health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are
We
they?
know what they
Can you
are.
say?
Halo.
I'm not going to name
what?
those games. The teams
Wait,
that are
what?
running those games have announced plans.
We're not
that are
gonna name the
too far away.
games?
As we know, game teams put a lot of
Oh.
energy into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take any
Announcements
games
with the
away from those
partner.
teams. So I won't be talking about
Yeah, that just leaves so much room to speculate.
Yeah, why
That
would
just
you do
leaves so
this?
much room to
Can we
speculate.
say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield.
That's
or
big.
Indiana
Okay,
Jones.
that's good to know.
What was the criteria in how the team was thinking about?
Yeah, not for
selecting
FNAF.
titles?
Still,
No.
It's
oh,
already
man.
A little bit
messy,
outside of
man.
that, and then I'll get
It's
to the 4
already
specific
messy.
games that we're talking about right now. The
Ah.
fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece
Oh,
of
bruv.
hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller
Whatever,
part of the
man.
industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while.
Okay.
A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, I'd say, on Xbox. and
Reach
PC.
their
There's
full
always
potential.
franchises that we
They
obviously
stopped
want to
selling.
continue to
Yeah.
invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them, kind of community-driven games
Two
that will end up on
community-driven
other
games.
platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest.
Sea of
So
Thieves
Sea of Thieves,
and
yeah.
Sea of
It's
Thieves
great
for
the
sure.
communities, more players to play with. I'd say
Maybe
2 of the other
Grounded?
games are
And
smaller
them?
games that
Grounded would be a
were
good
never really
bet.
meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted
Grounded.
to build, that
That's a
we
good
love
call.
supporting
Yeah.
creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of size.
I'm calling it now.
And
Grounded,
as they
Sea of
realize their
Thieves,
full
Pentiment, and
potential on
Hi-Fi
Xbox
Rush.
and PC, we see an opportunity
That's
to utilize the other
more than likely what it
platforms
would be.
as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio.
Yeah, Grounded is
And we
100%
don't
community-based, Bob.
manage Xbox
There's a
Wait,
ton of-
wait.
grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these 4 games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some
It
signal
is a signal.
that
You're a
everything's
liar,
coming.
Phil.
It's
I'm
not.
done with this.
And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games, games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show, where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's
This
just
is
kind of
such garbage,
we're
man.
focused
This
on
is
a couple
such
platforms and let's just show
garbage.
up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people.
Not concise at all.
No, it's just
when everybody plays
20 minutes of them saying nothing.
These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, as you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First, that all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us.
That's big to say
as Phil
that.
mentioned, there are games today.
But that's
Yeah, but
only
why-
because PlayStation and Nintendo don't want it.
I was gonna say, why would I trust that right now?
More of our games
For like
players.
the long
So we're
run,
gonna
right?
Continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside though from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player. To me, the two key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts.
Okay.
So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing, and I think is something that we as First Party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super, super excited to share
cool.
today. And it's all part of our commitment to make the Xbox experience and the games that we build as widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. If you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first-party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this.
That was a sly
view
way of saying
that
PlayStation
we're
doesn't
gonna
have
play
that.
Xbox in multiple places.
How many of you had to buy 2 copies of
Whether it's the
Helldivers?
games you want with the people you want, anywhere you
Well-
want, whether it's content, community, and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all win. Like we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players.
The problem with
Our
that is like
investments in xCloud,
not
our
every game gets
investments
to
in
play
franchises
anywhere.
Like Minecraft and now
Well, I
Call
think
of
what they're
Duty,
trying to
other
say is that-
franchises, so
Yeah, every
people-
Xbox
Xbox
one
games
does.
do.
Every
No,
Xbox
no,
game.
Xbox
This has been
do.
a strategy that
Absolutely.
we've been on
Yeah.
for
But
us
he's
to
talking about
decades.
creators in general.
It's
Yeah.
not about one
And
device.
creators tend to
It's
like
not about
whenever they
games
acquire
in
bigger
service
studios, a
of
lot of the
device,
creators tend to leave
but
Xbox. I don't know.
rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games.
I guess
on
this
other
explains why he's
platforms.
been
In
playing
fact,
Diablo 4 constantly.
Realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years. And I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people to engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all
Kind of a
kinds
confirmation there's still going to be in
So
hardware,
I think a lot
but
of people think about
not really.
2023 as this incredible year for
We
gaming.
got still
and
time
in a
to
lot
talk
of ways
about
it
that.
was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great
Yeah,
launches,
Baldur's Gate
some of
was
the games
great.
that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard
Didn't
decisions
grow,
to make about
bruv.
building a sustainable business.
Your
for
profits are
ourselves,
through the
but in
roof.
no
What are
way
you
were we alone.
talking about?
When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand?
Tell you
the
what you
business
could
I
do.
have
Make
by
some great
finding new
experiences.
players and adding those to the base of players
For
that
now, though.
already play. Our
I don't know.
focus
I
on
feel like
Xbox
the
for last
Sony news that came out
decade has
yesterday
been on
really
that last
does
point of how do we
benefit
make
the
sure
point Phil's
Xbox
making
is
right now.
growing for our players,
no,
growing for our
100%.
creators. So those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, I mean, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, I mean, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great.
wrong.
I think about it, for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of
There it
games,
is,
right?
guys.
Where have you
You've already
invested?
spent all your money on the
I think
Xbox, so you're going to
those two
continue to
things
do so.
probably are some of the biggest influences on where
Yeah.
people
Not me.
choose to play and what devices they choose
Keep
to play.
talking, Matt, but
When
not
we
me,
think about,
boss.
on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find the biggest audience possible. That's just the nature of building a game. You want people to enjoy and participate in what you've made. And I think we're in a unique position to deliver on that just because we are the platform. We build hardware, we've got a first-party games group, and then we've got a system that ties that together, that brings together your friends, your progression, your achievements, all of that. And I think that's really what has contributed to the momentum behind some of these communities.
We got your libraries.
Absolutely. And when you look at, just step back and you look at the history of the
Honestly,
we-
That's it, yeah.
You got
moved from a place
hostages.
Where it used to be that someone built and launched a game to accelerate hardware, to actually the things we do with our hardware and with our platform are all in service of making those games bigger. And we think about that across all of the investments we make, the consoles we build, the investments we do with things like cross-play, cross-progression, the things that we're doing with cloud. How do we actually give more options to game creators so they can have the greatest success? I think one of the fun recent examples about this is actually Palworld. You know, Palworld was able to launch, they were a game preview, they launched in Game Pass, they also simultaneously launched in Steam. And through the combination of those things, you know, Pocket Pair was able to have this outsized success, and it was the largest third-party Game Pass launch ever. And that's all because we give creators options on how they can launch their games. We've got subscription, we've got retail, we've got free-to-play, we've got game preview, we have the consoles, we have our experience on PC, and they can access all of those things. And when we step back and we just look at the performance of our platform all up, we know it's working. We're at the highest level of users on console, the highest level of users on PC, the highest level of users on cloud ever. We have double-digit growth rate on PC and cloud, places where we're enabling creators to actually reach
So
You're
they
not just
have-
contradicting what Phil
beyond
said.
the console.
Yes,
ecosystem.
yeah,
And
that's what I was
Yeah.
about to
we're
say.
and doing more because we see all those signals.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays.
Well,
for
we know that's not the
creators,
kind of growth that
games,
Phil's
and those
talking about.
communities. What
He's talking about that
the role
money.
that hardware plays for us as a business for Xbox.
I've
But if you have more
we'll talk
players-
after, We'll talk after. We'll talk
Hardware,
after.
It really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators.
I'm just gonna
right
say,
now
anyone
building
watching us
for
watch this,
Xbox than
anyone
ever
listening to
before
this
by nature,
bullshit,
thousands of them
good
by
luck
nature
to you.
of those
Like,
investments.
if you're believing
And
a
we have more
word
to
that comes
come.
out of
There's
any of
some
these
exciting
people's
stuff
mouths,
coming out in hardware
respect to
that we're gonna
people, they're
share this
hardworking
holiday.
people. That's not what
We're
I'm saying. I'm not using
also
this guy,
invested in the
but
next
this is so
generation
Microsoft
roadmap.
speaking,
And what we're
not
really
Xbox
focused on
anymore.
there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So what can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights for me of being in
Okay,
this
so
position
this is
was
I'm kind of
getting to
interested
stand on
in.
stage when we announced the back compat coming to Xbox One. Like, it was fantastic. People were reading the teleprompter before I can read it. I'm a slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that and online. You know, one of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has
Microsoft speak.
maintain
Microsoft
software
speak.
compatibility
Yeah.
with things that are built on it. Like, I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades
I get
ago,
this, but
and it will still run. And we try to bring that same
There you
never
go.
mind. He's talking about
There it
something
is. There
else.
it is. Out of his mouth. There you heard it. You heard it
The
there.
line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally it's tighter, which makes compatibility. You end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game.
This was a
across
great
multitude
Play
of
Anywhere
devices,
ad.
which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox
Yeah,
stands
please.
for today?
Please,
I
let's
think we
hear
pretty
it.
much covered
Let's hear
all of
it.
the elements, but if you could break it down for me.
You know, when you play on Xbox, what we're saying is you're playing on a platform where you know the biggest games in the world are always going to be. You're playing on a platform where you get to access Game Pass. And all of the games from our incredible range of studios will always launch in Game Pass day one. And you're playing on a platform
This one, you got a
that's
little bit of leak
dedicated
coming
to
through, by the
you,
way.
like player-first features, cross-play, cross-save, cross-progression, backwards compatibility.
You mean
being
all
able
the
to play your
things
games
you
in your
already
library
do?
anywhere you want.
This is
The investment
literally
you have
everything we
in
know.
it.
They haven't
So you're playing
actually
somewhere where you're
established any new
investing and
information
you know
for
you get to
anybody.
take the games forward with you and across all of the screens where you are.
Can't
And I
hear you,
think
this one.
most
You muted.
importantly, Xbox is a
Sorry.
place where you know when you're investing in Xbox, you're investing.
It's basically
somewhere
everything we
dedicated
knew already,
to making
yet 4 games are
Make
going
it,
to
wait,
PlayStation.
wait.
and creators
We are,
more successful.
you are
So that they
dedicated
can
into
invest more to
making
bring
games
even
more
better experiences
successful.
to you all of the time.
I.e., we don't have a
that
Fortnite, we
investment
don't
in
have a
studios
Roblox,
is
we don't
something
have a
feel
game that
is
we can
part of the
monetize
strategy with
well.
that platform proximity. You
We
know,
want
it's,
that type of money.
kind of
We don't
amazing
want
now
a
to look
Gears
out
money. We
across
don't
all
want
the
a
studios that
Halo
we've got
money. We
and
want
just be
Fortnite.
reminded that we're now one of the biggest development organizations in the industry. What does that mean for players? It means
I mean, you
that
say
the
that, but
biggest games
PlayStation
will
want the same
continue
thing,
to come to
surely.
Xbox.
They all do.
And, this 2024,
That's
year
the
coming
future
up,
of gaming at this
we've
point.
got more than 10 major releases coming up. Great stuff. Hellblade 2. We've got Diablo expansion. We've got Avowed, Ara, the Indiana Jones game, and there's more in development, which I think we're going to be able to share more about at our June showcase coming up pretty soon.
Well, I guess I should get
June
ready
showcase
to
confirmed.
that show. Well, thank you all for showing up on the podcast today, and we'll see the rest of you this June.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Transition me into this podcast, Eastbourne. Let's get this shit going.
Ooh. Well,
Boys, spicy.
well.
Well,
Well.
so before you go off, because I know you're about to, I can sense it. Let's just talk about what they talked about. Basically, nothing has changed.
Wait. Are we doing the
No, no.
podcast now or not?
I
Because
mean,
we're gonna end up reissuing all the talking about all this stuff. on
Let's just do the,
podcast,
just
you know?
literally, if you've got the overlays, just put us on the podcast overlay. Let's fucking do this.
we're on it. This is it.
All right, perfect. Hello, and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 450, I believe. I don't know, and I don't really give a shit. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash.
Hello.
Alongside also the one and only Mr. Paul Despawn.
Hello.
We have just finished watching Xbox's propaganda machine, being the podcast of them talking about the business updates of all things around Xbox.
Ready to
And this is our live reaction to that. I hope you're all well. We've got live chat going. Remember, if you want to support the show early, at patreon.com/mcfixer. Maybe consider becoming a member over on YouTube or hitting us up over on our Twitch and becoming a subscriber. Honestly, at this point, let's just get into what we have to talk about here, boys. I can't believe they had the audacity to waste 26 minutes of my life to pretend that they are going to actually announce something new. All we got from this, and we will break it down, and I'll let you do that in just a second, Despawn, but all we got was people dressed in suits, metaphorically,
Okay.
pretending they give a shit. But I'll let you break it down for us, Despawn. What was actually said during this podcast?
So, they opened with the fact that, yes, games are coming to other consoles or other places to play, as they worded it, basically.
4 games.
4 games.
Well,
they
4
said.
games.
4 games. Just
Well,
4
what
games.
ones? What ones, Despawn?
Well, what they confirmed was that there was going to be 4 games. What do you want? You want?
So let me get it
Did you
straight.
want
Let
another
me get it
games?
straight. Let me get it straight. Yeah.
Go.
Let me get it straight. So the internet is ablaze right now because we are worried as Xbox gamers that we are losing exclusive experiences on the platform that we've chosen to invest in. So what do we do? What do we choose to do instead to help everybody's nerves and to just clarify? Clarification was a word we used. I used it on Unlocked. I used it on last week's podcast. We need clarity. What do? Oh, we have an idea of what's going to happen. We don't want to take it away from our teams. Bullshit. I don't give a crap what you are saying anymore. I'm done. Kresh, I'm done. I'm done with this bullshit, bro. How can you not confirm the games? Bro, let's get it straight. It's Hi-Fi Rush. It's Pentiment. It's probably Grounded, because they said it was 2 community-based games. And the fourth one would be what? What would it
Sea
be?
of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, thank you. So, you know all the rumors that are already out there? Just clear them up!
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's because that's what's been killing them a lot lately, has been the rumors of... They said I will give them credit. They said it's not Starfield, and they said it's not Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Huge for them. That's great. What about everything else? There was rumors about Gears of War. There was rumors about a whole bunch of other stuff being talked about sending over. The easiest thing to do would have been like, hey, and they basically said like Gears of War isn't coming over because they said it's new IPs who have reached their limit, etc., etc. But just give us the games. Don't
Can we touch on that just for a second, please? Please,
Yeah.
let's just touch on that statement there alone. What did they say, Kresh? Repeat it for me. What did they say? What was their exact wording?
They.
You just said
it.
They said games that have reached the end of their life
Yes.
cycle.
Yeah.
So, in other words, these games underperformed on our platform, and we are no longer seeing enough revenue from them. So, we want to squeeze that lemon a little bit more and put them on Switch and PlayStation. I'm not against the idea of that if you just come out and say it. In terms of, if they just said, Sea of Thieves is a 6-year-old game now?
I want to say close to
6?
8.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. 8, whatever it may be. If they had just came out and said, Sea of Thieves has been a game on our platform for a long time now, and we believe that it's a fantastic experience that we believe is going to have a great life out on other platforms, such as Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. And we believe that we're going to be able to bring in new players that is then going to generate more content for the game. There's the wording. There's the messaging. There's everything you need to know. The game that certain people love in our community and want to still see thrive and new content come to is no longer making enough money for that to be viable, so we're putting it on other platforms. Just be blatantly honest about it. Why do you have to come with this bullshit mumbo jumbo and try and complicate it and Play Anywhere, which we'll get to, and all this other crap? Just say it how it is. And if that's the we're still none the wiser at this moment in time now. We are, but I'll get to that. We're still none the wiser of what's going on with first party exclusives. Because I don't believe what they're saying. Am I wrong? Am I the only one?
No. I think
like
the
generally,
problem-
do you believe a word that came out of their mouth during all this?
No, because they weren't concise. Like you mentioned it, we mentioned it a bunch of times when we were talking about it. Like just be concise and be incredibly clear and be like, I don't even think they had to fully name the games. It's just sort of name 1 or 2 of the games, because I understand there are deals and etc. Like if we're talking about Sea of Thieves, they do have like the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover and stuff like that. And there is stuff that could be like, hey, we have to talk to Disney. Hey, we have to talk to our partners for these games. We can't just port it over. Not everything's fully through. But to say that if Grounded is one of the games, Grounded could probably be just talked about, right? I don't think there's any crossovers in Grounded or anything like that.
No, they own that. They own that
Pentiment,
outright.
like 1 or 2 of the games could have been talked about, but it wasn't. There was no like sort of like clear line like, hey, this is the type of game we're talking about. It's like, here's some vague sense of what the games are. First party, newer titles, etc., etc. But that's still incredibly vague because that leaves room open for any new IPs Xbox makes going forward to come to new platforms after a year or after however long. And that's sort of like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care about Xbox exclusives going to other platforms. I'm fine with it. The issue I have is Xbox's messaging has just been muddled and messy, and I don't think this did much to clear that up. Personally.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's the main problem I've always had with all of these discussions that Xbox come out with. It's not that I've got a problem with what they're trying to do. Like, trying to get these games that have run their course on Xbox and like extend that and make more money from it. They're a business. I get it. Live service games are basically how you get that regular income when Game Pass isn't paying enough and you don't have enough first-party exclusives coming out every year. Fine, do whatever. But be concise with the messaging about it. Don't come out onto a podcast, bring the 3 biggest people in Xbox out onto a podcast and then say nothing new.
After gagging people.
Yeah, after telling...
not telling. We got nothing confirmed there, but it very much seemed like it on the interwebs of like no one said anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, without actually saying anything on the internet for a week, letting, like, again, the internet and what they say really doesn't matter in the long-term scheme of things to a lot of these companies. But when it gives the impression that you are a garbage truck on fire, to use that term, you should be fighting those fires as quick as possible. Like, Xbox have shot themselves in the foot so many times. They should be on top of these conversations. And the fact that they're reacting again instead of being upfront with their messaging.
I'm fine with them reacting. If they were going to react, though, they could have reacted last week. There was no reason to say, we're doing a podcast, etc. Like, they could have... everything they said, the important stuff, which was the four games going, that could have been said day 2. That literally the day after the news dropped, even if you don't want to do it that day or after the weekend, because I think it was on a weekend, this Monday, that could have been done in a blog post. That would have been fine.
Yeah, it could have
been.
There
didn't need to be a podcast about the future of Xbox, and then you spend a bunch of time talking about Play Anywhere. Play Anywhere has been a thing for a very long time.
Well,
Final Fantasy VII released with Play Anywhere. Not Final Fantasy VII. Resident Evil 7 released with Play Anywhere.
Yeah.
If you got that on Xbox, you got it on PC. Play Anywhere has been a thing for a very long time. The issue with Play Anywhere is nobody wants to use the Xbox store and the Microsoft store, or whatever the case be, right? People want to use Steam, and that still doesn't remedy that issue. You don't fix the problem with Play Anywhere.
No, this one, you can push it on to our next point. What was the next? Do you remember what the next talking point was?
So, yeah, obviously we got the 4 games, which we all pretty much know what they are. But I think the next thing was basically, like I said, the big push towards Play Anywhere as being the focal point of what they're trying to do. Have very much been like, okay, we want to give anyone who's in the Xbox ecosystem the ability to play their games on whatever platform they want, which is commendable. If, like Crash says, if they've got the market share on PC to get people into that,
which they say they have. They said their exact words were they are the largest publisher on PlayStation. They're one of the largest publishers on PlayStation, Switch, PC, and obviously Xbox.
But when I say PC, I don't mean Steam. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about their Xbox store. They need to get people. What they want to do is get people into their Xbox store on PC.
No, what they want to do is get people into Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest takeaway from this was, why are you reiterating things that we already know? This wasn't for your market shares. This wasn't for people like that. This was for us. This podcast was supposed to be for Creshley's Xbox sweater in fucking February. This was supposed to be for me, the podcaster who's done this for 9 years, and give me belief and reassurance that I've chosen the right brand to build my library in, which they will get onto, I'm sure. And moving forward beyond that, I just don't get it. Like, why are we sitting here talking about Play Anywhere now? Like, Play Anywhere's been a thing on Xbox for God knows how long. Like, why is that now the big push? Oh, we're seeing people using yeah, we know, we get it. Like, it's this.
Also,
please.
One issue I do have with the Play Anywhere conversation is the fact that it doesn't work with your whole entire Xbox library. It works with Xbox first parties. So with the way they made it such a big deal, that I kind of have issues with, because there are games that come to Game Pass that don't necessarily function like Play Anywhere. The saves don't cross over. That is very much so a developer sort of thing. And I get why Xbox wants to focus on that, and they want to say, like, hey, developers should keep bringing in this up and should start pushing for this more. But it's not a guaranteed thing. Yeah. And if it's not a guaranteed thing with every game, it just again continues to be muddied marketing from Microsoft. Whether that's the intention or not, Play Anywhere is a great feature. Ubisoft does the same thing with their titles. If you play their titles on multiple platforms, the saves transfer, it's a fantastic thing. I love Play Anywhere where it is, and the platforms that offer that. But not every experience on Xbox offers that.
Let's give credit where credit is due to Xbox. They were one of the first to come out and do it. I remember when it got announced, and I was like, "Wait, what? This is amazing." But yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like, well, I feel like developers, there was a conversation definitely had before this with their internal teams, and I'm sorry, but there is no way on God's given earth, if you have a team that is creating a multiplayer centric game right now on Xbox, which we don't know what's being made. Obviously, June's coming, which we'll talk about soon. There is no way on God's given earth you're going to be happy that Sea of Thieves is gone multi-platform, but then your game is stuck on Xbox. And then when it fails, you're going to go, but we had the ability to publish it everywhere. Why didn't we? That conversation is going to come up, because otherwise developers are going to lose jobs like they've done before because their game wasn't viable and its success on Xbox. And then those conversations are going to be had. There's no way you're going to sit back and go, well, you allowed them to put their games everywhere. Why can't our game go everywhere? We want the biggest player base. We want this. We want that. And I think that's where this conversation stops for me, because just because they're saying right at this precise moment, oh no, we're still going to have exclusive experiences, and that's what they said. Yeah, we are, but for how long? Like, generally, that like Gears of War is going to come out, right? It's going to do well for its core fan base, and then it's going to fall off a cliff like it does every single game. That's what happens with Gears of War. So how long until we see that on PlayStation?
Player base is incredibly important for that. Is there a possibility that goes? Or are they just going to be like, hey, we're going to let the Gears of War multiplayer die, right? Like you were saying. It's just, it's muddied conversation with no like clear, concise messaging, I think.
To me, it just the whole time I didn't hear Xbox anymore. I didn't hear the Phil Spencer that I got excited about hearing when he steps on stage. And you know, that isn't what I heard today. What I heard was a conversation between Phil and Satya Nadella at Microsoft, and him saying, hey, we got all these experiences. Why don't we have a Fortnite? Why don't we have a Roblox? Why don't we have these games that generate millions, if not billions of pounds/dollars? That's what I heard throughout this entire conversation. It wasn't, let's create unique, cool, fantastic experiences for our players. No. Why don't we have games that make more money? Is what I'm hearing. After then hearing Sarah Bond, and not to go at her at all, I have nothing against her personally, but just from what she said, you had 1 minute Phil Spencer saying how Xbox is stagnating, pretty much is what he was saying. It's stagnating, it's not growing, it's not this, it's not that. Then on the other, straight after, you have Sarah Bond saying, yeah, but Xbox is growing, it's building, it's this, it's that, profits are up, this is up, that is up.
I don't know if she said profits were up, but she did say like a lot of different sectors were like twice as big or whatever. Yeah, it's just, that felt contradictory, even if they were like not necessarily 100% talking about the same thing. And also like that, like the conversation of saying there hasn't been growth, that's why we've let go of people, and then like, hey, we've seen twice as much engagement in these areas. Just, it feels not great at the end of the day.
Yeah. And again, to follow on that, like they've just had a massive conversation about like, yeah, we're not having growth, we need to grow the company. Dude, you are the biggest company in the world. How much bigger do you need to get? Like, you are worth as Microsoft as a whole, granted it's not just Xbox, but Xbox is quite a large chunk of it. You are worth $3 trillion. How much more money do you need at this point?
More.
Well, apparently, yeah.
Joe, that reminds me of that, do you remember Kobe Bryant, that Kobe Bryant advert of him and Kanye West? I don't know if Chris will maybe know what I'm on about. When Kanye sat in the... sat on the stage and Kobe Bryant's like,
yes,
how much more do I have to do, Kobe Bryant? That's literally how this feels right now, where it's like Xbox being like, yeah, we had this success, and Big Daddy Microsoft more. You know, it doesn't matter, and I don't know what is the end goal here in terms of like, once upon a time, I understood what the end goal was, which is, more players, building great experiences, enjoying games. Now I'm sat here thinking, all right, what are they going to announce in June? State of Decay? All right. I was excited for State of Decay, but
that's a live service game that will definitely, in
but
a year's
I
time,
need-
possibly on
I
PlayStation.
need to stress, I don't have a problem with games going multi-platform if it makes sense.
Yeah.
But from a box perspective, I don't think I'm ever buying an Xbox again. That's... I will still be doing this podcast and I'll still be play on the Xbox ecosystem, as they like to tell me. But I don't think that I will be buying another Xbox again. And do you know how sad that makes me?
I'll be honest, for Xbox, that's probably a good thing, considering they lose money on them. If you're still in their ecosystem,
No, because I would agree with you if they weren't already making them. If they stop making them altogether, it makes perfect sense, right? But you don't make something hoping it doesn't sell.
No,
That's
I agree.
counterintuitive.
Yeah. But if they can see that, we can make 5 million, but we can see that the people, the market says, or the marketing says that we only need to make 3 million. It's that's going to save us 2 million's worth of consoles.
They don't want people to leave consoles though, because consoles are what keep you in the ecosystem. Your library continues to grow, right? And once they start losing people, you get the conversation of which they didn't really clarify. All they said is we have multiple generations, and that's sort of the cure for people worried about their libraries disappearing, right? It's we have multiple future generations, or whatever Phil's wording was to imply that there was multiple. Why? How do I know that? Okay, multiple can imply there's 2, 3, 4. Who's to say after 2 generations there's no more Xboxes or 3 generations, right? They didn't answer people's problem of what about my whole gaming library. They did a lot about Play Anywhere and talked about it a lot, and you can't just transfer over libraries, right? I'm not saying that at all, but there's just a glaring issue with that aspect, and that's what a lot of people are really bothered by the news of, what happens if Xbox disappears. Their promise to that is essentially hey, Xbox isn't going anywhere for a while. And here's a whole bunch of reasons why, but Play Anywhere, we've known about that. We're only porting over 4 exclusives. What are those 4 exclusives? We don't really know. It's continued muddled messaging constantly over and over again.
Yeah. Like I say, the ideas that they've got and what they're trying to do, I understand as a business, it totally makes sense to me. You want to get as much reach as possible. You want to get as much money from as many places as you can. It's basically saturate the market and get to as many places as you can, because that's where all the money is. But be concise with your messaging about it. If, again, a prime example of what I would have, I know, again, let's say I was Mr. Xbox, I was Mr. Microsoft. What I would have done, those rumors started dropping, I would have been day after, okay, yes, the rumors are true. This game.
Yeah, but to answer that, if you've got partners and you can't do anything about that, right?
Yeah, but we're talking the exclusive games that they can talk about. So let's say Grounded, Pentiment, and
Sea of Thieves. But
Sea of Thieves maybe. And what was the 4th one we said? Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, which that has music licensing, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, but I mean...
So that one, I don't know how that licensing works, to be fair. Because that could be another conversation of hey, that needs time as well, whatever. So that one could be but just be hey...
You're going to say exactly what I'm thinking. Go on.
There's games that will be coming out. There are 4 games. It's not X, Y, and Z, right? It's not any of our big first-party games. It's newer games. If they came out and did the messaging they did in the beginning, the day after, it would have been so much better.
That's it.
But they waited.
Yeah.
They waited to say, Phil Spencer tweeted out, hey, next week we have news. And then it was hey, we have a podcast coming on Thursday. And then the podcast came and said something that could have been said the second day or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the third day, or even that Monday. The Monday, whenever they were we have a podcast coming, they could have released that segment.
That's it. This could have been an Xbox Wire podcast, a post of just saying, yes, the rumors are true. Some of our exclusive games that are longer in the tooth, as it were, are going to be going to other platforms just to kind of, extend their life cycle where we see fit. This will not be the case going forwards for everything, whatever. We will discuss it more next week on a podcast. That's what they should have done. They should have come up front, said that this is happening. Yes, it's true. The rumors are true, but we'll clarify more on Thursday or today. And
I
then
don't think you do the podcast at all.
you don't think they do the podcast at
Because
all?
they wouldn't have clarified anything on the podcast.
True.
That makes it even more
but this
motivating.
is what
Like,
I'm
we're going
saying.
to clarify and repeat the same thing
But this is
over.
what I'm saying. They would have, because they got ahead of it, they would have been able to talk about it more. They could have clarified a little bit more and then maybe had time to talk about something else. This thing was a waste of 25 minutes. It's like,
I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? Like,
No,
I
they've
understand that I'm
confirmed-
obviously hotter than most people, but like, this was a waste of time.
Yeah. It's like, all they did was confirm that the rumors are true. They didn't confirm which rumors are true. Just that some of the rumors are true. And we'll tell you which rumors are true later. Oh, and also that thing that you've been using for years is now the main focus of what we do. But it's always been the focus of what we do. But it's now the renewed focus of what we do. Also, we want to put our games into more hands. I don't think we've ever told you about that before, but we've told you about that before.
Yeah, Indiana Jones comes out, is on the Xbox for a year, and then goes to PlayStation and Switch. If it can port to Switch 2.
Nah, I don't have an
That's
OLED
rumored
screen,
this
don't want
year.
to know.
Yeah, but that's rumored this year, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just see it as a case of like, game didn't sell well. Okay, now we get to give it another boost, which I'm not against. I'm not against that if you are just open about that and you say that. But I think from my perspective, you're just going to annoy me more when I buy it on your platform, being Xbox, not PC. Like, I buy it just on Xbox, right? And then a year later, you're like, oh yeah, now it's on PlayStation, now it's on Switch. Like, and it's like, yeah, but it's case by case. Because that's all you're going to hear from that one. Because the reason they're saying case by case is because they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going to flop. They don't know what's gonna get a hold of the industry and actually do well. They don't know.
Yeah.
So the reason they're like case by case is like, if something doesn't do well, or we think it's going to work on better on PlayStation, if it's going to sell well there, then we're going to put it there. And the other thing I want Microsoft to get over, by the way, I don't want to keep hearing about other platforms. No. You're a third-party publisher at this point. Say their goddamn names. Say Nintendo and say PlayStation. Stop with this other platforms. Like, in my opinion, say their goddamn names. Like,
I think part of that would have been like saving announcements for other platforms. Because there was supposed to be a Nintendo Direct today that got pushed, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
There wasn't
Is that
one
real?
confirmed. Yeah. I can't remember if it was
Oh, there was
today.
one that was rumored. It was rumored.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it's supposed to be
confirmed.
one this week, yeah.
So there's a possibility that they were just waiting for that, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And that's why they can't name platforms, or whatever the case. Like, that has
Maybe.
like muddled stuff,
Maybe.
and I'm fine with that. But it's just like being more concise and not making like, this didn't need to be as big as it was, because none of the talking points that they talked about today was new or revolutionary for Xbox. All they're gonna get is negative PR and press after this.
Yeah.
Because the
I mean-
hardcore Xbox fans aren't going to be happy. The PlayStation fans who are like, I might get an Xbox, are still going to do the thing that Phil said not to. They're still going to be like, hey, those games are going to end up coming down the line. People do it with Game Pass.
They do it with
They
Game-
see a
yeah.
game coming to Game. They see a game and they're like, that'd be a good Game Pass game. I'm not buying that game until it comes to Game Pass. People will do that with PlayStation. That doesn't remedy it
Yes.
just by saying, don't do that. They're still going to do that because that's how people are. That's how they operate. That's how they function.
I think they're within their right. Like, if you're happy to wait a year and play it on your quote preferred platform, then
Wait a year
why
and
would
play
you
it.
not do that? If you're able to, if you've waited that, like, there's people out there that do that, right? That they wait for those experiences. It comes out with all the DLC. It comes out beta tested, as people love to say on Twitter. Use a beta tester. Like,
Yeah.
I can see it. I don't know, man. I'm
That's-
left with more questions and confused.
I think that's my
by
main issue.
What Xbox is.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point there as well. Is I think it was Jez Corden who said it, that Xbox is now the place to beta test PlayStation games, because it does feel like that. It basically, we get the games first. If they've got issues for 6 months to a year and everyone drops off, they'll fix those issues. Go, right, everyone's dropped off. Let's put it somewhere else. And they'll get the better experience because they don't have to deal with the crashes and the issues and the bugs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But until Xbox turn around and go, actually, no, we're going to keep this game on this platform permanently, and it's only going to, they'll always be permanently there until the platform dies. But like, this will never go to PlayStation, this will never go to Nintendo. Until they flat out say that, we're always going to be thinking, all right, well, we're getting the worst experience because we're basically the early access program, as I'm seeing people in chat say.
Yeah. I honestly, I need to go away and think and decide on what I am as a gamer at this point.
I just want to point out, Origin Cookie Man did say something, and he said, but major first party for now are staying put. And there's a keywords you put there, and that's for now. That's the problem people have.
Mm-hmm.
Is the for now. There's nothing that's been like sort of really explained, or like it's the issue people have had with Xbox for a while. Because now the Blade conversation, you can go back to the Blade conversation. If there is a for now, you cannot tell me that Blade is guaranteed to be exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
For now, new first party games are exclusive. For now. It doesn't stop that muddied conversation that Xbox has had looming over it for such a long time of, is this game an exclusive or not, since they bought Bethesda. Yeah. It keeps happening, and it's going to keep happening, and they did nothing to fix that or change that.
No.
Yeah,
I think for the short term Xbox are the exact same Xbox that we've all come to love. I think for the next year or two, you're going to see some really good experiences come to the console. And I think slowly but surely you are going to start to see those exclusives go to other platforms. I look at Helldivers 2 right now. I'm playing that on PC, and Hayes playing that on PC, right? I've always understood that. It's always made sense to me. It's like, okay, you have a console, you want to sell these consoles, and you want to bring people into the ecosystem, but you also want to make a larger sum of money. And that's where PC came in.
Mm-hmm.
And now it feels to me, you want your cake and you want to eat it too. You want me to invest in your ecosystem. You want me to play anywhere with your games. You want me to invest in all of this stuff. But you also want to put it on these other consoles, which makes your console obsolete and just pointless to me.
Yeah.
That's where my head is at right now.
So, yeah, play devil advocate a little bit. Like, I have no problem with games going to other platforms if they are totally upfront and, word it that way. Because but it's like, the fact is they're trying to sell Xbox as the brand, and it's like, but you're doing a really bad job of it, because am I paying in to get Xbox and play with less people? Are you going to make all of these games multi-platform? What's the best experience for me? And right now, the way that they're wording it, the best experience for me is wait 6 months to a year and play with people on PlayStation where there's a larger pool of people playing. You need to be well, that's how it seems to me. It's very much a case of like, by case basis, we'll put games on other platforms. It's like, well, but if I just wait for the other platforms, eventually, like, there's not going to be enough people playing on Xbox. You'll just want to port them straight away. You'll make them day and date. And it's just, at that point, it becomes like a one console race.
I see Dano who says, why does it make it obsolete? I would still prefer to play most of my games on Series X anyway. I think for me, it comes down to, again, privileged position, understand I have a PC, right? Like, the reason I play games on Xbox is because of the comfortability and the user AI, things like that, right? But if I can get a better experience somewhere day and day, I'm going to do that, which is why I play on PC now, because I find the experience is that much better on PC, like every time. And again, I'm sat in an office when I play games and things like that. I'm not sat in a living room. And I understand I'm a very, very different case, but that's what I'm talking about from my experience, right? What it feels like to me is like, it just feels like you're taking away a lot from the console at this point.
For me, I don't think it makes Xbox obsolete. Right, I think Xbox,
maybe obsolete is the wrong word. Maybe that's the wrong word.
People who are still invested in Xbox will still be invested in Xbox. I don't think this changes anything. The problem is it stunts Xbox's possible growth. You already see most people wanting PCs, not consoles at all. And if this continues to be the case, like, why is somebody going to invest in Xbox? You stunt the future growth that at some point it will be obsolete. And at some point, Xbox is going to have a real conversation of, do we need to make a console? It's not now, it's in the future. That's the problem. For right now, you're perfectly fine. There's nothing. I think for the next 10 years, you're perfectly fine with Xbox.
Yeah.
There's no issues with that. I think Xbox will still continue in large to function the same for the most part. But this isn't helping the future growth of that. This isn't helping grow the Xbox brand on Xbox consoles. Yes, they talk about PC places, but even if you're looking at PC, compare Palworld, great example. Compare Palworld numbers on Xbox, on the PC Xbox app and the Steam app. It's not comparable. It's a fraction
Night and day.
Yeah.
Origin Cookie Man, would Palworld have had a better launch on Nintendo or PlayStation?
On both, it would have had a better launch.
I think so.
More people. Definitely on PlayStation.
I don't think the game probably wouldn't have worked on Switch, but that's a
No,
different
probably
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Switch 2. Yeah, sure. But yeah, no, definitely. Like if that was available, like if that was the PlayStation Plus game of the month, that would have done that. Yeah, I mean, undoubtedly.
Interesting. Anything else to add, boys, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've come across a bit doom and gloom about this, but I think it is just, for me, majorly, it's very much a how they've marketed this, and it's not great. I will say I still think Xbox have got the ingredients for a fantastic ecosystem, in so much as like the way that you can, if a developer puts a game on Game Pass, they're going to be able to 9 times out of 10 get that onto basically every way to play a game possible, whether that be console, PC, handheld, cloud gaming, VR through the cloud app. The ability to get that into as many eyes as possible is great, and I understand this feels like a necessary evil going forward for them to grow the amount of people in the Game Pass ecosystem. I just think Xbox keep doing this same thing time and time again, and it's of their own doing, is just bad communication. They need to get better at their communication. This was a 20-minute way to say nothing. They need to be... Blog post it. Just blog post it, a 2-minute video, whatever it is. 22 minutes to say Xbox is the best place to play is not the way to go. Like, admit your faults and just deal with them and push forward from there.
I totally agree with you, Despawn. Like, messaging needs to be clearer. Obviously, I've definitely come across more negative on this podcast today, and I do apologize for that. For anyone thinking maybe, in short, I think Xbox are making the right decisions for Xbox as a brand, as a global brand, as a ecosystem. I don't think they're making the best decision for a console player. So, but that's neither here nor there, because I don't care about that anymore. It's bigger than the console, and I think you said the right thing as well, Crash. Which is, I know for a fact my little brother, who's just turned 8, right? He owns a Switch, but he doesn't own an Xbox and he doesn't own a PlayStation. First thing he asked my dad for was a PC. That is what they don't. These kids don't even think about consoles like we did. I remember opening my PS1 for the first time or my PS2 for the first time, right?
They don't have that. They don't
have that. They don't have that anymore. They've already been gaming on their iPad.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely the old man waving his hand at the sky type situation. That is definitely what I am right now, and I think it's going to take me a little while to wrap my head around it. The one thing I will say that I'm happy about is this podcast ain't going nowhere.
Nope. There's still going to be an Xbox ecosystem. Yeah. I think, just to butt in quickly finally, I think, again, like I've said, like I think Xbox, you said it perfectly there, Xbox are doing what's good for Xbox. They have moved past trying to be a hardware seller, and they are trying to sell an ecosystem now. Whether that's the right move short term, we'll see. Long term, I think yeah, it is going to be the future. Put your games everywhere and make it available to play in the easiest way possible. Have one subscription that gives you access to pretty much everything. It makes sense. It's how Netflix became Netflix. But yeah, it is going to be a short-term pain process, I think.
I think for me, like, I'm perfectly fine with where Xbox is. I'm fine with the decision to go everywhere. I'm fine with all of that. I don't have any real big gripes with a lot of those decisions. The only issue I have, and it's the issue I've had with Xbox for a while, and that is messaging. That's all I want Xbox to clean up. I think that you leave a lot of room for speculation. I think you leave a lot of room for this sort of toxicity in the community and and the toxicity of people interacting with the community by leaving these sort of vague, muddied messages. And I just want that to be cleared up a little bit. That's all I want from Xbox. I think what they're doing is fine. I have no real issues with where they're going. I think like if consoles are going to die, there's a possibility that consoles die and go away. There's nothing that Xbox can realistically do that if that's where the market moves, right? Because we, as Fix said, we're the older generation. The younger kids, they're on PC, they're on their iPads, they're on this other movement. Like we saw PlayStation say they're moving to PC, which is fine. If that's the move, that's cool. I just don't want this muddied messaging from Xbox that happens over and over and over again to happen and then be like, hey, we're going to come out and clear the air, and then come out with a statement that is essentially you chasing your own tail for the most part.
One thing I will say to get me really happy, excited, and in, Xbox need a handheld. I think an Xbox handheld for me right now, and we could end on this, but an Xbox handheld for me would be very, very big. I don't want a cloud. It can do cloud as well, but something that I can natively, like my Steam Deck, right? That is something that will keep me in the ecosystem. Because there's a reason I buy my games or, privileged position, I understand, ask for codes for games on Steam. It's just so I can play it wherever I want. If Xbox really want to do the play anywhere thing, they need a handheld. They need a handheld like the Steam Deck, like the ROG. Like, that is how they're going to keep someone like me in their ecosystem.
Have neither of you guys have used the PlayStation Portable thing, right?
No.
It's a fantastic experience. It's actually like a really good experience. And that's not even a native, like you download the games on that, right?
Yeah.
So if Xbox were to do that and have the connectivity with the console and have that connectivity with the ecosystem, I think that would be huge. I'm 100%. I don't even play games in handheld, really. It's not my preferred thing. But for the ecosystem and for Xbox, I do think that would be a huge, smart move for them.
So,
or Jojo made a very good point. Sorry, this one. Let me just quickly interject real quick. Or Jojo, like Jojo just said in chat, or they don't need a handheld. They need to partner with like ROG or one of the other handhelds, or they need an app on Steam Deck that has Game Pass, which I don't think Steam Deck will want to do, and I'm talking natively. Or with ROG, they need some. I think they have a native app actually. I'm not sure.
So this is what, but it is again cloud gaming. So
I need native download.
Yeah. So this is 100% like what I was going to say is like, I don't think Xbox need a first party handheld. I think there needs to be, to be fair, this is going to be a bigger discussion in the future, I think, but the way that obviously we looked at Epic in the past about how they're arguing about app stores and things like that. I think there's going to be a point where we get a native Xbox app store on these devices. I think that's going to be the future.
Hopefully. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and we'll get both. I think we'll get a Game Pass cloud streaming app, and then we'll get a native app as well. But yeah, I think Windows is the handheld market. Like, it's not going to be an Xbox One. It's going to be like ROG Allies, those kind of things. Runs Windows natively. Then you can download the games from there.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
You don't think so?
I think you create peripherals. You could market them however you want. You can market them as premium things or whatever. It keeps you in that ecosystem. Why do people go back to Apple all the time? It's because they got AirPads, Apple Watches, iPads, iPhones, Macs, whatever. They all connect. So I do think you need that. It doesn't have to be the biggest one. You can still partner with those other platforms, but you need something that ties people into that ecosystem where you have quick play on your Xbox, you turn off your Xbox, you start up your handheld, quick play resumes there. You need something like that those sort of like expanding from one console, from one experience that expands to your other systems. I think Xbox needs that in a proprietary first party sort of sense.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Again, just something to kind of expand the play anywhere, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys, let's plug and get ourselves out of here. Crash, we got to plug this week, my brother.
The My Xbox and Me YouTube page. Go follow if you're here right now. Drop a subscribe if you're not subscribed. Drop a membership if you would like to. It helps support the show. If not, we try and stream 3 days a week. We drop 2 podcasts. There'll be 3 podcasts this week because we still have to record the extra. We still gotta record that.
We still gotta record
anyway,
that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. My Xbox and Me YouTube page.
D Small, we got to plug this week.
I was going to say just the YouTube as well, but specifically, I have just about finished my review of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I just need to finish off a little bit of editing. So that should hopefully be out this week. Man, that game's a good game. Play that game. That's what you should do this week. Go play that game.
Go play that game. All right, I'll try. I'm running out of time. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, do me a favor. Join the Discord. If you're not in the Discord right now and you're watching, please. Description below. The Discord should be there. The My Xbox and Me Discord. Again, seeing a lot of conversations going around right now about obviously Xbox as a whole. I'm happy to confirm, especially after today, that Xbox as a platform is still going to be a thing that I want to still playing. Yes, I get angry. Yes, I get disappointed. Yes, I get frustrated with Xbox, but it also makes for quite a fun and enjoyable conversation, I hope. So, yeah, take what I say with a pinch of salt and take it for what it is. Disgruntled old man and the industry changing. And this old man's not happy about it. I'm sure next week I'll be okay with it and I would have calmed down. But yeah. But apart from that, keep supporting the podcast. We do appreciate you. Until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Live stream, hopefully at the end of the month. Fingers crossed. Yes, boys? Maybe.
Yeah,
12-hour stream?
Probably.
Maybe with goals?
Probably.
Maybe?
Probably.
Hashtag stream with the boys.
We need to
Possibly.
speak to Matt. It's Matt's fault.
Hashtag question mark?
Hashtag question mark.
Hashtag the hashtag of the question mark.
Yes.
Bye.
Oi.